Okay, well, welcome everyone. My name's Greg Doucette, and we've got John North on the mic as well. We're going to basically walk through the Gladiator Weightlifting League points and leaderboards up into today. That's after two meets, January and February, and then maybe talk a little strategy on how to increase your point totals and where our prizes are and how things go. So, so welcome, John.
Yes, good morning. Greg Doucette. Glad to be here. Congrats to all of our athletes who competed over the weekend at the second GWL competition. Everybody killed it, did great. A lot of green boards. It was fun to commentate, fun to watch, and fun to see all the battles and big lifts that took place.
Oh yeah, and it's shaping up for March. We got, I think, close to almost 40 entrants already. So we're on our way to selling out March as well. So I think it's just going to get better. And it's kind of interesting watching the point system in the leaderboard develop. So there was a lot of changes after meet number two. So it's really quite neat. So you can flip the board pretty quick on how you get your results. So, all right, I'll throw up the PowerPoint there, John, and then we'll walk through that. Okay, so.
Great, one sec. I switched. Check, mic 1 2.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, I think I was on my computer audio, but now I'm on the mic here.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, so we just threw together a quick PowerPoint league update after meet 1 and 2. So we'll walk through that. The first leaderboard that we're looking at is the junior leaderboard. So it's Clark Lawson out of the US, a junior male, 73. He competed in the first meet, hasn't competed in the second, but he has a total point score of 5 points. So he's actually leading the way for junior males.
Yeah, and this is a door that is ready to be kicked open, for any junior male athletes who want to, battle Clark here, and battle the top spot and, go head to head with Clark and have some fun. Come on over to the GWL and let's get after it.
Yeah, it's interesting too, as you start to say, John, you start to see the board, where there's opportunities to jump in and compete and do well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but big shout out to Clark Lawson. He came out the first competition in January and did great. Gathered up 5 points. Obviously he's still in the lead. As the only athlete. So, so it's really cool to see. Hopefully he does March. And to speak on March, Greg, we also are going to up the athletes from 60 athletes up to 70.
Yep.
With popularity and growth of the league already as we approach our third competition. We've been selling out each competition within the first 2 weeks. There's a high demand, and we just want to up it from 60 to 70 to get more people involved.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably going to end up being about around 12 lifters per session. And we had a couple of sessions in February where we had up to 14. So they ran very smoothly. So I think we can up it and divide it up and have good sessions.
Yeah.
So our next leaderboard was the men's senior. And one of the things we're pointing out here is that basically the top 20 and ties throughout the regular season would advance to the GWL World Cup final. So if you look at the board right now, Scott Schuster is in the lead. He's actually leading by 20 points. He has 20 points. And then second place is Corey Ebert at 19. And then if you walk your way down, you've got two tied at 16 for third place, 14, 12, 10. So you can see it's very close. And as you go through the list, you can see the meets gained from each meet. So meet 1 and 2. And the total points. And I think you mentioned this yesterday, consistency is king for point tabulation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, consistency is really what this league is all about. Competing every month, competing often. That's going to push your training. It's going to, raise your PR total higher and higher and higher. It's going to keep us focused and keep us on track in the sport, especially in this COVID world that we live in. So consistency is king. You could be a middle of the road lifter, but if you're consistent doing all the meets, you're going to gather up a lot of points and, be far ahead of some of the heavy hitter lifters that are only doing 1 or 2 per year.
Yeah, exactly. And that that was the whole idea is, throughout the regular season to qualify for playoffs, it's to reward people for consistency in training and actually competing. And that's why the point system was developed the way it was. The next one is just the Masters. Here was one of the flips this week. I believe last week, Brad was in first place. And then this week, Remy Cormier jumped into first place out of Moncton, New Brunswick.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at points going down, Remy scored a 5 in the first meet and a 10 in the second. So he's in first place all alone. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people tied at 14 points. So in second place. So really close battle shaping up in the Masters division. And then going all the way down, you can see Eric Dahl, one event, and a few others at one event who are still pretty close to making it to the playoffs with some more meets. So that's one of the things you've got to really look at is where you fit and how you maximize your points.
Yeah, every competition counts, every kilo counts, every lift counts. That's what's so fun about this league, and what makes it so exciting is it comes down to the wire. I mean, look how close this is.
Yeah, and like you look, it's only a 10-point spread from the bottom of the pack to the top, so that could be made up in a week. So it's pretty
look,
cool.
Eric Dahl, like you said, is ranked tied at 23rd right now. If he has a killer meet next competition, and he's got a lot of people in his weight class, then
yeah, he's at minimum 10 points next week. So
yeah, you just shoot up to the top. So it's cool now that we have 2 competitions in the books to see the athletes shifting and moving and see the points, accumulating on top of one another. It's sometimes hard to see that, in the first competition. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
One to go off of, right? So now you're really starting to see, how skinny these margins are, and how these battles are just shaping up to be they're just epic battles. It's cool to see everyone go head to head and get to know different athletes across the world and say, hey, I need to go ahead of this athlete, and I need to score this many points. And, or you telling your friends in the local gym, hey, join the GWL so I have more people in my weight class. Speaking of that, Greg, do you want to chat real quick on how to gather points? Where do these points come from? Where are they produced?
Yeah, let's do that at the end. I got that queued up at the end there, and we'll walk through, but we'll go through the women now.
Yeah.
So the women's leaderboard, we've got the women Masters. So we have Connie DiPiero out of Ontario tied for first place with Sherry and Diane. So they all have 10 points. And then right below them is a stacked up 5-point spread all the way down to they're all tied for fourth place. So you can see how it's really going to be very tight in the Masters division for women.
Gosh, look at this.
The other one that's kind of cool is you mentioned it yesterday about, having Kaomi last week having 9 points, being in first place. She missed the event this week. And then Kelsey Green with consistency of 5 and 7 ends up in taking 12 points for total and in first place. So it was a complete swap of positions last week.
Yeah, one comp missed, and something came up with Kaomi. She couldn't make the competition, unfortunately. But that leaves other athletes with an opportunity, like you said, Greg, where Kelsey had she had a great competition, but like you said, consistency is king as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, right? You can flip flop really quick.
Yeah. And it's like, we forgot to mention last slide, talk about the men's division is, Brian Neitch, his platform, his setup is outside, and it was pouring down rain, freezing cold. It was like ice rain. Sorry, my phone's ringing there. And, he was in a situation where he said, I might have to, I can't lift. I have to pull out of the competition. But he said to me, I need the points. I gotta have the points. And he wasn't even thinking about kilos on the bar. He's thinking about points.
Yeah, exactly.
So
placing.
Right. So what he did is he went light. He made 1 snatch, scratched the other 2, made 1 clean and jerk, scratched the other 2, and put the total in, gathered up the points, and now he's still top 20 going into the third competition.
Yeah, exactly. That's all part of the strategy, right? So women's seniors really shaping up to be a neat battle. And then down below you have the women's junior, and that's the Chevrier family. They all came out, the girls all came out, hit totals in their weight class and ended up with 5 points. So they're all tied for first now. Family affair.
Yeah, the Chevier family, so inspiring, so motivating. They all just kicked tail and had fun and lifted big weights. It was so great to see their 12-year-old daughter, lift weights there in the garage, and the mom and the sisters and the dad, of course, and just enjoying a sport together as a family, all rooting each other on, under the same roof. That's just really cool to see.
Yeah, exactly. And it's cool. Mom, dad, and the 3 daughters. It was kind of interesting to watch.
That was great. Well, we'll see. Andrew Downing is sitting strong right here. I know that she wants to get some more people in her weight class and work up the rankings. We'll see what Kaomi does for next competition. She's going to want to take back her spot. We're seeing these battles take place. I love that Connie, took the lead. Now she's on a 3-way tie. It's going to be interesting to see, what Sherry does next competition to try to break that tie. Same with Diane, to head into the leading spot. So there's a lot of strategy here, but you hit it on the head, Greg. Consistency's king. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, exactly. So let's maybe look at some of the points. So again, we did for the regular season, it's a sliding point scale based on the number of competitors you actually beat within your weight class. And that's where the strategy comes in. So after 2 meets in, you have a good idea of looking at the results sheets, how many people are in each weight class. And if you're hitting, let's say you're in the 81 weight class, senior 81 weight class, and you're hitting bigger totals than the people in 89, but there happens to be more lifters in 89, then I want to move up a weight class. And there's nothing that says in the rules you can't move up and down weight classes as long as you make the weigh-in. The only rule we have is you can't go across senior to master, master to senior, or junior to senior, etc. You pick your division, but you're free to move up and down. Like I'll use Remy as an example. Remy competed at 81. He was lower down the list, and then he realized that, hey, the 89 weight class in my age group, it's stacked. There's about 5 people in there, so 5 people means 10 points. So he jumped up a weight class and won it. So now he's getting the 10 points, right? So he's now in first place for Masters men. So those are the types of things you got to think about it, and I like that strategy that has to happen throughout the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Or just throw it out there. And I know I've mentioned this in the past, is getting some fellow friends that into the GWL that are in the same weight class as you, stacking up these weight classes so you don't even have to move weight classes. I think early on in the GWL, what Greg is saying is very smart. It's very smart. I think the GW will get to the point where each weight class will be stacked. We've already talking about next year having, the competition run 2 days, upping it to 100+ athletes. This is just the beginning of something very exciting. But as of right now, moving weight classes to score points is necessary. I like that strategy, but also get some friends involved that are in the same weight class as you. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, that what I like about the league concept is we've published the scoring charts. You've seen the results of 2 meets. You know where people are, how many people are in, the points that are available now in each weight class, right? So it's your job to strategize and maximize your points. So that's kind of a new thing in weightlifting from what I see.
Yeah. And do you want to explain at this point, Greg, on how athletes get points? Obviously they get points by beating. The more athletes they beat, right, the more points they get.
Exactly. So it's head-to-head competition, right? So we've had some very tight matches and tight lifting. So we have people who are winning weight classes by 1 or 2 kilos. So it's been that close, 1 or 2 kilos between first through 3 or 4, right? So, but again, it's how many people you do battle with head-to-head in the Coliseum, and that's how we determine the point scale. So if I'm competing across the top, you'll see the competitors 15 down to 1. Let's say I've got 5 people in my weight class. Well, my maximum points for first place is going to be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You compare that to 3 in your weight class, it goes down to 9, 5, 4. So it's a fairly even spread and differential across the chart. But again, you're rewarded for beating people.
Well, I love that because I've always said this, and this was Glenn Penley's philosophy is don't worry about what's on the bar, just win. Don't worry about what's on the bar. Go out there and beat your competitors.
Yeah,
right?
and we've got people, John, that are light lifters throwing 10, 20 kilo totals more than the people who are 2 weight classes above them. So they have the opportunity to move around. So, do that analysis, do those metrics, and try to figure out where you should be.
Yeah, I never knew what was on the bar for the most part when I was competing at a high level in USAW back in the day. I didn't really know. When coach told me to go lift, I did. I never really looked at the board, and I didn't even like to get a sneak peek of what I was approaching. I just knew that coach was going to set me up, lift the weight. And I know that coach was going to set me up for, that gold medal placing, that at least that podium placing, whatever it may be. And so sometimes we think too much about the kilos. And that's what I love about this league is let's think about beating our competitors. And that's the whole point of the Coliseum, right, Greg? Going into the Coliseum and battling the gladiators. Like, it's more about battling each other, of course, with good sportsmanship, and we're all in this together, but pushing each other, battling each other for these points.
Yeah, the head-to-head has been very exciting. So I think as you move throughout the regular season, I know you wanted to talk a bit about that. So just to clarify to everyone, there are prizes in the regular season at the end of the meet. So the people, let's take junior, masters, and senior. There'll be 3 winners, first, second, and third cash prizes for top 1, 2, 3 male and female in junior, top 1, 2, 3 male and female in senior, and top 1, 2, 3 male and female in masters. So we're starting to work that through. So that's the regular season champion, so to speak. So that's why you want to maximize your points. Try to win that title.
And I'm glad that you said that, Greg. I know you're about to go into the World Cup placings as well, but before you do that, people need to hear that, because I've had some athletes tell me, well, it's okay if I'm not, the leader in my, division right now, as long as I am top 20 for the GWL World Cup at the end of the year. Well, okay, you have a point there, but you want to be regular season champion as well. You want to be regular season at podium as well. So there's the regular season champions, and there's the World Cup champions, and so more athletes need to be determined to get these points and to compete often to get on that podium for regular season, almost kind of like national championships, if you will. Like the regular season is national championships, and then the World Cup is obviously worlds.
Yeah, exactly. So the way it works is you work your point system. You'll have your regular season champions, and then the top 20 and ties. So if we have 30 people moving forward and they're tied for top 20, well, they'll go to the playoffs or the cup finals, right? So we're not gonna prevent that. So it's top 20 plus ties. So if you look at moving into the cup finals, again, it's a 2-meet event, a month apart, and it's going to be your total 2 Sinclairs added together, which will give you the determining champion. And so, that we talked about that before, the strategy that would be involved in that, right? So do I open heavy? Do I risk bombing out? Do I open light? What am I going to do? And then after the first meet, if I'm in first place in Sinclair, what do I do from there in my second meet? Do I open conservative, or do I try to, like a gladiator, step on the throat, right? So
yeah. I had an athlete ask me why 2 meets. My answer was 2 reasons. A, more strategy. Yep. Is why we love the 2-meet world championship method. And also 2, again, consistency.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
We want to see athletes go out there for both competitions and, put those together with consistency at the highest level to crown our world champion.
Yeah, exactly. And let's say somebody comes out and has an off day and they know they've got more, and then they come out and they go for broke in the second round. They might go from third to first. So like I said, I love that strategy aspect, and it's not giving you the final lift, right? So there's a second one, and so you got to really think about what you want to do.
Yeah, and you might see some hustlers, some pool hustlers, if you will, some pool stars. So they may be going a little too easy on the first meet, and they're going to come out on the second and blow it away, for whatever reason, because at that point, Greg, you're going to know your competitors. pretty well. You know, even if they might be across the world, you're going to know them. You're going to know how consistent they are. You know, you could go back and watch these YouTube videos, these competitions on our YouTube channel here.
Yep.
So you can go
exactly.
and study these athletes before going into the World Cup.
Yeah.
It's not like these athletes are going to just be out of nowhere because they have to obviously have done enough regular season competitions to even be in the World Cup in the first place.
Exactly. And you know, what's interesting, John, over the last 2 meets, the people who have come out for 2 meets, they're starting to know each other. And it's really quite interesting because you and I are starting to know the athletes, right? So you're becoming a person. You're becoming an individual in a league that people root for and people understand, right? So it's really, I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's fun. It's really good.
So we'll tie that up. So again, we plan on doing a few more of these. The other thing that we will do is I've got the records done. So we started tracking records from meet to meet, and so maybe at another date, John, we could go through and say here's the current records, and we've tracked all by weight class and by division. We've got snatch, clean and jerk, and total records.
Yeah, and I remember, you know, obviously we had in one of our meetings before we launched the GWL, one of our meetings at the last 2 years of putting this together before launching. You know, we kind of went back and forth on the second meet or the third meet is when we'd establish the GWL records. Mm-hmm. And that's what we wanted to do. We didn't want to do it's kind of like what the IWF does when they change weight classes. Mm-hmm. They just say, click, 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 click. Here are the new world records. Here's the bar, right? Now beat that. We didn't want to just make up a bar.
Yeah.
We wanted to have the athletes organically produce the bar of the world records. So I think that as we spoke after the third meet here, that'll be the bar. And then after that, it's going to be exciting to see these athletes break GWL world records.
Yeah, that's what Eric Chevrier was saying to me in text over the last couple of days. He says, I love the records because that gives you something to go take down. So yeah. So there are a lot of people want them. So that's kind of cool.
Well, go to a commercial gym, everything, doing weightlifting by itself can be a little bland, right? That's why nobody's going to 24-hour fitness or Gold's Gym and doing snatch, clean and jerk every day. Mm-hmm. If they're not going to compete, if they're not going to do the GWL and try to break records and gain points and do competitions and try to qualify for meets across the country, talking about USAW, etc. Doing snatch, clean and jerk can be a little, I'll even say it can be a little slightly boring. Mm-hmm. I don't think that, but I think that other people might. So creating this league and having so many things to chase and hunt down and constantly having something to look forward to, it makes the snatch and clean and jerk just that much more exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm really excited with what everything's going on. Like I said, we'll get ready to go for meet number 3, and we'll see how that one comes, and then level set those records, like you said, and give everybody an opportunity to go out and break some, and we'll go from there. But before we sign off, I just wanted to wish you guys good luck. I know a lot of you are off to the Arnold. So I think that's going to be an amazing event for you guys.
Thanks, Greg. For us, even though you're not there, you're going to.
I'll be watching.
Attitude Nation, So the Red Circle Mafia is showing up deep. We're excited. We have our team house and everyone's tapering and locked and loaded. I'm excited to go coach and lift, and we're going to have a grand time. So thank you for saying that. And also, last thing too, big shout out to Element 26.
Yeah.
Our sponsor for the GWL. Support them. Go to Element 26 and buy your belt there, your knee sleeves, your tape, your wrist wraps, everything they sell. Support Element 26 because they're supporting this league and they're supporting all the athletes that are in this league, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, really great. All right, I'll let you go. I'm just gonna sign off of YouTube here and.